Hi, Stamper fans. Welcome to another Make It Monday. Thanks for joining me, whether you're watching live on Facebook or if you're catching the replay on Facebook or YouTube. I'm so glad you're joining me. I am Nan Gerlitz, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Bloomington, Illinois, and I am here to help you connect with your people, whether that's gathering together to craft or you making handmade items to share with them. It's all about making and deepening those connections. So let's get to it. There we go. I know normally I have a project down here, right? But first, I wanted to make sure everybody that was watching in the next couple of days knows we have big news at Stampin' Up! And we have free shipping going on right now. So free shipping from December 9th through December 11th on all orders of $75 or more. It's a terrible reflection right there, isn't it? Sorry about that, guys. But today, December 9th through Wednesday, December 11th, free shipping on all orders of $75 or more. That includes all those last chance products, many of which are at discounts. So really good deal to get in on. So that's mostly what I wanted to mention. We do have the last chance products going on. We do have those new designer series papers. If you haven't checked them out, you can find the link to shop with me in the video description. You can also type that in if you want, and shop for all things Stampin' Up! With me right there. All right. So first of all, let's get to Friday night stamping. So yay, I won. But the funny thing is I made them both. So the Stamper Man was under the weather for quite a few days. We think we've hello, Penny. We believe it was a head cold, but it seemed to have brought on a migraine. That's the only thing we can figure because it was a multiple day headache, and that was really the problem Friday. He couldn't hold his head to stamp. So, do you want to just skip it or what? I had already made this card earlier in the day in preparation for tonight's live. So I came downstairs and decided to whip up this one in Russ's honor because this is the, I think it's called Wildflower Designs suite of products that he had picked out a couple of weeks ago. So grabbed those dies and I actually embossed the background too. It was hard to tell with all that stuff going on. There you go. So yeah, once I added all the die cuts, then I ran it through an embossing folder as well. So, and I used his new fun embellishments before he had a chance to. Sorry, honey. So, but yeah, it was a close vote still, I think. And I believe there were 3 people that did the bonus guess on which one would have been Russ's, and you were all correct. Good job. You guys know us, I think. So, all right. So tonight we have something a little bit different. We are not doing an entire project. We are talking rosettes. Rosettes can be very intimidating until you make them. And then once you make them, you're like, okay, I get it now. And it's easier. So, but yeah, even the first couple of times I made them, I was like, which way is this again? What am I doing? So you just make a few. And then like I was a rosette making maniac over the weekend. And you will see that at the end of the video because I have lots of completed projects to show you. So yeah, we're just talking basic rosettes and kind of everything you can do with them tonight. So for that, I'm using the Round We Go, just the dies, really. I'm not using the bundle so much, although I do love the stamp set. I think we all love the stamp set, right? Because it's fabulous. We used that last week. So tonight we are using the dies. And this guy right here is how you are going to make your rosettes. So in the olden days, like, I don't know, 6 months ago. Oh, you made one the other night. Yay! I thought I heard something. So funny. Well, in the old days, what we did was we would cut strips of paper and then we would either get our trimmer with the scoring blade or our scoreboard out and we would manually score every 1/2 inch. So this little die right here is fabulous because it's just going to cut it and score all those lines for you in one go through. So let's I wish I hadn't done that now because I feel like that's distracting. Oh well. We will get started on the basic rosette. So what I have found personally, it doesn't really matter which way you start your accordion folding. I have found personally, I like to fold that little tab towards me. So it's a valley fold. And then you're going to go away and then toward and then away. Hey, Joan, thanks for joining us. Nice to see you. Thank you both for your well wishes for Russ. It was so nice that everybody was kind of popping in. Hey, Lucia. Russ is feeling much better now. Yeah, it's like I said, he had a headache for probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. And it was to the point where it was just, he couldn't move his head. He found a comfortable position and he just like wouldn't move. So it was a little debilitating. So yes, you're just going to accordion fold this back and forth all the way down. I know we have our Australia late. It's an international broadcast. I love that. I wish that I could catch you live, Lucia, on Mondays. I have not watched your entire video yet. But, you know, that's like, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning or something for me. And I just don't do that. But it's nice when I can catch you on a Wednesday or Thursday when you're live with your tip during your afternoon and my evening. So, all right. So this goes pretty quickly. And there you have your little accordion, right? I do have my glue gun heating up already. Almost forgot to do that, so that would have been bad. I will tell you that I find my little cross lock or reverse, whatever tweezers you want to name it, I find those just invaluable when I'm making rosettes because what I do is I put a little bit of glue on that tab. And you're going to tuck your other one right over that. And then I take my tweezers and then I just lay that to the side while it's drying. And usually what I'm doing is maybe I'm making another one. Maybe I'm cutting out some of the other elements to my rosette, right? So, right? Yeah, I wouldn't expect you to get up at 3 a.m. to watch me either. So it's nice that it at least works out for one of us to be, you know, watch live. So someday when I retire, maybe I'll do some daytime or maybe I'll do some staying up late and I can catch you live, right? But as it is now, I have to be up at 6 to get ready for work. So waking up at 3 is not an option. All right, so we have just made a circle, okay? So we've just tucked those two together. I will say I tried to use our Stampin' Seal. I also tried to use tear and tape because that was my first go-to, and I have found that the liquid glue holds it the best. I have not had any problems when I've used the liquid glue. So that is what I would recommend to you. You totally could do hot glue, but I feel like that's messier. So liquid glue until you have to, right? So now the way to make the rosette, you want to protect your surface. So you either want a silicone mat or you want a glass mat. And that's because you're going to be using hot glue, right? So the easiest way I find to do it is on my glass mat. Yeah, see, I tried the tear and tape because I thought, oh, that's going to be it. Nope. The seal actually works pretty well, but it's wider than these little sections. So it's just messy, right? So liquid glue it is. So I find it easier to form the rosette on a glass mat because it slips easier. And this is what I'm talking about. You're going to kind of squish the top together and push down. And boom, there you go. It just forms itself. It will pop right back up, by the way, until you've got it glued down. But it will just form itself very easily. And on the glass mat, it just slips and slides. So if you can see from that far away, I've got kind of the pointy edges out. So this die does have two different edges. So let's make it the other way. Let's scooch the pointy edges in. This is going to be a little tricky just because its memory wants to go the other way now. There we go. So if we put the pointy edges in, then we have more of a scalloped, like a flower shape on the outside. So you really just need to decide which look you're going for. So I'll just do it this way since I've got it going on. Okay, so no circles. Okay. I'm going to do this without anything to hold it. That would be the streaking part, yes. When it pops right back up, I know, and you're like, no. Okay, so you're going to take your liquid glue, your hot glue, sorry, and form a little puddle. I've gotten pretty good at not having the little strands. So I like to, on my counter or my glass mat, get that down. And you can see that it's a little futzy. And then I can pull it onto my silicone mat because it does not want to slide on the silicone like it does on the glass mat. But there are advantages to the silicone, and I will point those out in a minute. I forgot to bring any of my blocks over. What I normally do is, while I've got this setting, I would put like one of my Stampin' Blocks on top of it, and that holds it down into the liquid glue or into the hot glue until it's set. And then I can go about, again, doing more. I can make more rosettes, or I can work on other parts of my project until that's set. So it's pretty good right there. I'm going to add a little more hot glue into this divot, because you're going to be covering up the center of it anyway, and that's going to hold that in place more as well. You want to hold it until it's set. I wish I would have brought my blocks over, but I don't want to run away from you. So I'm just looking around for anything else that's heavy. Silly me, I don't have any punches or anything over here. So the nice part about the silicone mat, this is not quite set yet, is that it peels right off of the hot glue. So you can see the hot glue doesn't stick to it, which is great. When you do it on a glass mat, what I have found is you can still put the puddle on the glass mat and you can do your rosette there, which I really liked, and then just let it sit. But then you have to kind of pry it and twist it off a little bit, because it does like to, it doesn't stick to it, but it adheres to it a little bit more than the silicone. So comes off pretty easily even on the glass mat. Okay. Now let's do a for real one. So here's the other way that you can do that. I'm going to cut these as well for you because I have some tips for you on cutting them as well. So I'm going to use my Big Boss tonight. All of the dies in this set will fit in the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss. So if you only have that one, you can still use this set. I prefer, for whatever reason, I've used it both ways. I prefer to put my die through this way instead of long way. So this way it would fit through the mini. Oh yes, so many ideas, Betty. Let me tell you. Wait till the end when you see. Oh, those tall bikes. Yes. So penny farthing. I have one here in my studio because it's kind of steampunky. So yes, I have one of those. Not a full size, obviously. Okay, so when I am cutting these, because they have so many lines to emboss as well as cut the edges, there's two different things I've found. One is you can go through very, very slowly. And the reason for that is you're going to spend more time underneath with those rollers adding pressure. And then that will, very loud, help those embossed lines. Okay. The reason that's very loud as well is because it's a big, long die and it's covering up that whole section. The other thing that's nice about this die is if you just kind of bend it a little bit, everything pops right out. So we've got those embossed lines. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus. There we go. Perfect. The other way I have found that the embossing comes out the best, because when I just rolled it through quickly, it didn't seem to emboss enough. And if you're going to be folding it, you want those embossed lines on really well. So the other way I've done it is to go through once, twice, 3 times, and 4 times. And you'll notice I didn't go all the way. I just went until the die cleared the rollers and then came back. So it doesn't take that long. So I recommend either going through slowly or back and forth so that you've passed it underneath those rollers 4 times. And those lines are perfectly embossed as well. Okay. So let's make a for reals one here. I actually have some pre-cut pieces, and we are going to make what I think is going to be our gift tags this year, because it's December 9th and we should probably get on that. So funny story to tell you when I'm talking about that. I have been meeting with just this group of new friends, basically new crafting friends, and we have been meeting at my library once a month. We each just bring whatever we're working on. Most of them are knitters. We have a couple of crocheters. I, of course, bring paper crafting. So usually I will bring one of the kits that I have and work on that. So last Thursday, I had my craft night. So I actually got off work early. I came home for a little bit, had dinner, went back to the library to meet my buds. And because last week we had been doing the rosettes and everything, and so I had my die cutting machine over here, and I had accidentally left the plates to it on my little rolling cart that I bring over. And when I was gone, Russ wrapped my Christmas presents and was going to make tags and couldn't find the plates to stamp and cut and emboss machine. So I got a little talking to when I got home. He's like, we have to have a chat. When you leave someplace, you have to tell somebody where you hid the plates. And I thought maybe I brought them with because I had intended on working on some rosette stuff, but it just didn't come together enough. So I thought, oh, I wonder if I put them in my bag and forgot to take them back out. So, but no, they were in here. They're just hidden in a place they shouldn't be. So see how quickly that comes together with that liquid glue? It really is very quick and a very good hold. All right. So now what we're going to do is I've got a couple of the bigger circles there. They're small, but they're bigger than the smallest one. And I'm going to use these as kind of a base point to hold everything. And that does help a lot. So instead of just putting a glob of the hot glue on my glass mat, I'm going to put it right on the circle. And then when I make my rosette, so I'm going to squish it down here. Okay, it's all good. So it's kind of got that memory now. Now I'll just go right over that circle. And again, just push it down, squeeze it in. And it's now going to adhere to that little red circle. And the reason I picked the red is because it matched the cardstock, so it wouldn't show if I didn't quite get it centered or anything. It would just blend into the background very easily. All right, so that's not quite set yet, but I'm going to go ahead and put a glob of the hot glue. We're going to take our other circle and put it on top. And this is where I would put my, I think I found something. Put something heavy on it.
That was easy.
And we're just going to let that sit for a minute until that hot glue sets up, okay? All right. And so then I have cut a couple of the little kind of flower fireworks, whatever you want to call them, to add a little zhuzh. I've got a little black circle. And then I've got a J for either Jeff or James. Who knows? That's the problem with kids with the same letter, right? You can't just do an initial and clear up the mix-up. So let's see. Yeah, that is all set. I mean, that is cute, just like that. You could make a cool banner or all sorts of things, or a multicolored banner for party. We were talking last week about like circus. So if you had a circus themed birthday party or celebration, that would be super fun. Red, white, and blue for 4th of July, all sorts of cool things. So now I'm going to go back to my liquid glue because we're just doing paper to paper now. Just a little dot in the middle. And we will do one guy on one side. This one is slightly off center. As I said, not a big deal. But this one I'm going to top off with that little black circle. Give it a little finished look. And the reason I went with these colors is because I checked our little wrapping paper bag, and whoops, our wrapping paper is like red and tan and black and shaded spruce. So I might make some with shaded spruce as well. But for right now, this is what I've got going on. And then we're going to attach this guy. So if you had people with all different initials, first initials, you could just do this. And it would be a very easy way to tag your gifts. But the nice thing here too is that this would also make a really pretty ornament. You just poke a hole in the top, thread some ribbon or twine or something, boom. Thanks, Penny. And so this is the finished one that I did, because whenever his gifts arrive, I'll be wrapping them. So yeah, I just poked a little hole, took some of our linen thread, and that will match our gift wrap very nicely. All right. What else do I have? Oh, okay. Here we go. So the first thing I actually experimented with, as you saw last week, I think, is our designer papers. So I've pre-cut some of these, and I just want to tell you that because the designer papers are thinner than the cardstock, they fold much easier. And you definitely don't have to go through like 4 times. I usually still would do twice. I like a good emboss on my die cuts. So if I'm putting it through the machine, I'll usually run it back and forth. Oh, thanks, Lucia. Have you tried these yet? Do you have this set? They're so fun. And I will say, I used to watch people make these. And again, this was back before we had a die cut for them, right? And it was, you know, cut the strip and you had to remember measurements and then you had to do all the scoring. That seemed like a lot of work. But man, if I could just die cut them and then put them together, it was super easy. Our liquid glue again. And so the reason I like to do mine flipped up, by the way, is because then I can just cap this other one, because the other end ends up being a mountain fold. And that makes it easier for me to put together. And I think it's a cleaner version as well. And I'm going to get super ambitious here, and hopefully it won't blow up in my face. But I have 2 pair of these tweezers. So I'm going to go ahead and make the circle and clip it together. So yes, these tweezers are fabulous because, yeah, you don't have to sit there and hold it. Oh, Lucia, I totally recommend getting this set. When the catalog first came out, because this is in the annual catalog, I saw it and I went, oh, that's great. I love it. I should totally get it. But I was reluctant because I thought, how much am I going to do with it? Am I really going to make rosettes all the time? Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this now. You will see when I'm done here and I show you all the other things I made over the weekend. And literally, I made these all from like Friday and Saturday mostly. So I'll just pop that down. So, whoops. So you can see the pretty patterns. So if you have a striped designer paper, I absolutely love those. Polka dots work great as well. All sorts of different things. And then we have this designer paper, unfortunately, is no longer available. It was the Hello Irresistible, I think it was called. And I thought it was because the stamp set is still available. Silly me. But look at that pretty kind of ombre watercolor-ish look. And then there's this one that has like some checked patterns to it. So your designer papers just do so much of the work. Once you've got the rosette making down, designer papers can just take it way over the top. So I absolutely recommend using those. All right, let me unplug my glue gun so that that is good. And then let's get to show and tell, okay? So first we have, we had our card, right? Well, if you're gonna give a gift that you can't mail a card to, why not make a matching gift bag? So you pop that in there and it's just like, wow, presentation, right? You show up to a bridal shower, a baby shower, a birthday, whatever it is with this, people are going to be talking. So if you like attention, for sure. But yeah, I just love how easy that is. You just, you just get white gift bags from like the Dollar Tree or wherever, and they're way less expensive. And then you can personalize them and make them match all your cards that you're going to make, right? So there's one. Then last week we had talked about doing like lollipops. So I did happen to have some craft sticks. So I pulled out again some fun designer papers. These are our in color designer papers. So we've got stripes here. We've got some open polka dots there. Super fun patterns. Right? And I happened to pull these out and then realized I had the ribbons to go with them too. So it was a really fun little set. But so these are just sticks, but you could totally put lollipops or, you know, anything like that that are on sticks. You could dress them up like this, right? So cute. Love them. Okay, then we have, I did make another little ornament. This was one of the first ones I made. So that More Than Autumn set has that cute little gingerbread man. Now, if I did this again, I would probably put those, you know, these cutout dots in there to give it a little more pizzazz. But this was just my, let's learn how to make rosettes again. And again, punch a little hole, put a little ribbon or twine or thread. You've got a cute little ornament. And that would dress up any little package that you wanted to give anybody. Then we have, I went a little crazy and figured out how to make different size rosettes. And I made a Christmas tree. It even has a little brown layer for the trunk and a big round circle of designer paper for the tree skirt, right? So this is, and the cute little star circle that's part of that set. So I did 3 of those and folded them in half and popped them together, and they're the star on top of the Christmas tree. So very fun little thing there. Then I saw this cute idea, and I happen to have this really cool box that came from Stampin' Up, so it had Stampin' Up colors, and I made a little box topper, half rosette, to match. So again, if you're giving a gift and you want it to match the card, boom, there's your way. So you get a cute little box. You could decorate it however you want. You could wrap a plain box in our designer paper and then make a matching card and topper for it. There's that. Then we have our super fun, I love this little thing, our little angel. And this was, I do not remember the person's name that, but I did watch her little video and made her angel. Super cute. I am going to show you next week on live how to make this and how to make that. So you know how to do kind of half or partial rosettes, right? I was busy. Well, Russ was sick and he was not wanting to do anything. So I was down here all weekend. And then lastly, I made a Christmas wreath. Let me clear some of this so that you can get a better shot of this. So that fun wreath is out of some of the sentimental Christmas paper. And I did not have as much green as I had red, so I've got some doubled up reds here. But yeah, super simple. So they're just basic rosettes with the little starburst circle on them. And what I did was I took the backing paper from a designer paper and I cut the circle out of that. So it's like a 1-inch circle. I think it's like 9 and 10 inches, the inside and outside. And then just hot glued some ribbon there. I also did a really cool ribbon trick that I will share in a future video using these 2 fingers. So I learned new ribbon fun things because the fork bow just wasn't going to cut it enough. So the angel is not vellum. The angel is the country lace designer paper. So you can kind of see the little lacy bits in there. In fact, I put one of her wings on upside down because it should be this side. So yeah, that was the closest thing I had. I didn't want to make it just out of white cardstock. I wanted a little something to it. So, but that was a really neutral, light paper. So yeah, very, very fun. All right, so let me get my mouse working. So next week, I will show you how to make the angel. I will show you how to do half rosettes and partial rosettes. Also, probably will teach you how to make different sized rosettes next week as well. I think I can fit that all in on one. So yeah, definitely tune in next week. But can you see how versatile this whole bundle is? And the rosette making is like just for anything. And, you know, depending on the colors and the papers you use, it could be for any occasion. So yeah, absolutely. You can tell I'm a little rosette obsessed now. So, and you know, it could be worse. So, all right. Well, that is all I have for you tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. If you picked up some tips, if you picked up some inspiration, I'd love it if you'd share the videos so that your friends and family could learn a thing or two as well. Until next week with more rosettes, I'm still Nan Gerlitz. Happy stamping.